It's 2:34, 2:35.
Yeah. Call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is, I guess, approve the last month's minutes.
Motion.
And a motion, do I have a second? Oh, can't hear Sherry either.
Well, they're muted right now.
Oh,
I abstain. Wasn't there.
okay. Okay, in favor, just raise your hand. Okay, unanimous except for one extension. Okay, new business. The update on the state guidelines, Mr. Radcap.
So obviously, you know, he pushed everything out to May 18th. The governor did. However, he did put out guidelines for state park users, which are basically no different really than the guidelines for the general public going anywhere else. It recommends using masks if you're going to be within 6 feet of someone. It recommends staying 6 feet apart or doing social distancing. And it recommends that if you go to a park and there's a lot of people there, to go to another location. So basically, it's the guidelines he set out for the state parks at this point are no different than guidelines of going anywhere else in the state, really. So I have a feel that's probably what we'll be looking at. I mean, when he comes back on the May 18th, it'll probably be something similar to that for his guidelines. Hopefully he'll have a date to reopen the public parks and beaches officially, but it looks like he's heading in that direction. And with that, I think there are some other decisions we do have to make today, regardless of what the decision is, quite frankly. So that's just what we know right now. I did put, I don't know if I know Jim had an opportunity to see it. I did do a little spot, as most of the department heads have been doing on DCTV, to try to get the word out of kind of where we are. I think it came out pretty decent. Basically letting people know that what is open, that we have our beaches and parks open for passive recreation, canceled all our active stuff for now, that you know, recreation's on hold, basically the concerts and beach sticker sales are on hold. And I basically asked folks try to look towards social media and the town's website for when those things will be, when and if those things will be able to occur, just to try to cut down on some of the phone calls here. As you know, obviously Becky is out pretty much every day with the staff that we do have, getting stuff outside. And we do have it on the message here. We basically say all that on our answering machine here, that when you do call, you get the message that says beach stickers are on hold. Recreation signups are currently on hold. We'll let you know as soon as we know. However, we still have another 6 or 7 calls today with people leaving messages about that very item after they listen to the message. So we are doing what we can to try to get the word out, but sometimes there's always going to be calls. So we think DCTV did a great job getting it out, and we'll keep moving in that direction. So that's all I have for the update right now. I think we can.
Anybody have any questions for Timmy on that before we move on? No? Okay. Let's go with the new staff.
So regardless of what happens with the summer, I did send, if you remember, I talked to you folks at the last meeting about sending a memo up to the town administrator regarding maintenance of the properties and some of the non-essential properties for the grass, letting them know that obviously we're extremely short-staffed, and that we would still maintain those, but it would just be probably a bit lesser than normally we would maintain them. That's pretty much buildings that there's really no liability at, such as the front lawn of town hall or the library or something like that, where the actual lawn isn't being used for recreation or by the public. He actually forwarded that to the selectmen last night. I saw them, they're aware of the situation. They really have anything to say one way or the other. I think it's just good that everyone's on the same page as we go forward. With that, we know we will have to hire a couple laborers this year, college and high school laborers, to move forward. So regardless of where we go, we do need to make those hires. So, you know, Becky had sent out a list to you, and we had reviewed the applications, and we had put asterisks next to staff that's available to work through the end of the season. I think at this point, knowing that we're going to have a very late start, if we do have a start to our summer season, that we just really hiring folks that go back the beginning of August or the end of July, that would just be an activity, because chances are they wouldn't be able to work hardly any at all. So we really need to focus on, the staff that's able to stay to the end of the season into labor. That's what we're going to need. So basically, we put asterisks on that. That's what you see, those asterisks. I'm certainly not asking that you hire anybody tonight, but what I would ask is you consider allowing me to pick from that list of asterisks as if we need to hire. I know we will need to hire, and I'll need to do interviews for at least probably 3 to 4 labor positions.
Timmy, how many, aren't we, good English, won't we need extra laborers other than just the 3 that you have from last year?
The ones that we have from last year that were, sorry, the photocopy was warming up behind us. I think what you said is, would we need just 3 in addition to what we had from last year? Is that what you're saying?
Well, according to you got here, you need 3 plus 2, and there's only 3 returning.
2 are rakers.
Yeah.
3 returning.
Right.
My question is, do you only need 3 laborers to get through the season?
Oh, he's asking, do we only need 3 laborers to get to the season?
3 main ones, yes, in addition to the one we have.
Yeah.
That would bring it to 4 that we only have. And
Yeah.
then we need rakers.
Yeah, we normally have like 4 laborers. So the rakers, the ones that rake the beach would probably also have some gate guard hours. That's what we've done in the past. And I may use, because they'd all be first-time laborers, I'd probably have a few less hours each one over what our previous staff had. I mean, those kids have been here a long time, and they had quite a few hours. I'd probably break that up a little bit more. That's why we're asking for, we'll end up probably picking a few more, because they've never done it before, and I got to see how that works out. You kind of
So are you asking us to vote to let all the names with asterisks next to it for you to pick through to hire?
Well, only if we need to for laborer positions, for the most part. I'm going to have to, basically, those gate guard spots, I'm going to have to see if some of those can be laborers. They didn't necessarily sign up for labor. However, we just don't have enough laborers to pick from, and we're probably going to need to pick for a few more from that gate guard stack.
So I think, Jimmy, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that they've identified the ones that actually are going to be the most useful to us, because we're going to start late. These kids are sticking around until almost the end of the season. So, Jimmy, what I'm getting is you want to consider anybody with an asterisk to be listed for potential interviews. Is that what it is? And then
that's correct. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to, the only thing I'm considering at this point is to, like I said, to look at a couple of laborers right now. I think that we've looked at, and I'll get into it, we've looked at a couple of options as far as staff and lifeguards and having some park oversight of the bathrooms. And I mean, at this point, I've looked at it from the angle that we're going to be utilizing the recreation kids to do some of that park monitoring stuff of the bathrooms and some other positions. So, and gate guarding as well. So I'm not really looking to hire in those positions. I don't think we're going to have to. I think the only thing we're really going to have to focus on hiring at this point, unless something really radical happens, and I just don't see it, is for the labor positions. I just don't see it.
Would you need the flexibility though I mean, because I'm ready to make a motion that any the names with an asterisk be set forward to the staff for potential interviews if there's a need for those positions.
That might not be a bad idea. Just, if the governor does come out even after May 18th, maybe he'll come out and make another announcement mid-June that in August or July rec programs could happen for a short time of the season. We may want the flexibility to bring a couple of staff on to let the rec kids go back to their rec positions if we so choose. So we may need to. I'm not looking for that right now. I am just dealing with the immediate. I know the immediate need is in labor, and we're going to deal with that. But as we go forward, we may have to grab a couple of others that we can interview and get signed up.
Yeah.
You want to make a motion, Joe?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that any of the names with asterisks be submitted to the staff for potential interviews in the event we need to hire any more people.
I second.
Motion's made and second. Any other discussion on that? You just raise your hand if you're in favor.
Is Bosworth communicating with you, Jimmy?
No.
You can use the chat function on the Zoom if you wanted to. You just click it to everybody and you can type.
Or if he wants, he can call into the office. We can put him on speakerphone right here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's only, I think it's a smart move right now. It's just preparation because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, things change. They've been changing. The state's been following the New England, other New England states in New York. So, but I see that changing every day. So I'd rather be prepared.
Yeah.
And not be behind the 8 ball. I mean, again, if we don't need them, no harm, no foul. At least we've got the kids' names, and even the rest of the kids, we'll leave them on the list in case something happens. Things change quickly. I mean, we can always, have a.
Well, I think the only thing that we should think about is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, is just whether or not, like the camp counselors, are they going to get an option to be a laborer, or would they want to?
So we've pretty much taken, we've done some dry runs of some possible ideas of how this whole thing's going to play out with where we can place these kids, and we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. I really don't have. I can do it. We can do it now because I really don't have it listed. But I was going to talk about it after the lifeguard rehires. Is that depending on the lifeguard schedule that we pick based on the limited number of lifeguards we have, we're gonna need to place those recreation staff at our beaches to either assist the lifeguard with monitoring, not necessarily the beach, but monitoring the park, monitoring the bathrooms. The same thing at Round Hill. We have enough staff to adequately staff Round Hill from like 9 to 5. But from 5 to 8 or 5 to 7, we don't. Now, there's a couple of ways we could do that. We could reduce staff at Round Hill down to 3 lifeguards only during the peak daytime period and put 2 lifeguards at, the evening hours and do an overlap there. Regardless of how we do that, we're going to need to have direct staff in there because those lifeguards will not be able to be dealing with the bathrooms and, anything in the parking lot. So, and at Jones, you're only going to have 1 lifeguard at Jones, and that lifeguard's not going to be able to leave that beach. You're going to have normally you'd have 2 lifeguards. One could kind of monitor the park. They could take a walk around occasionally and check on the bathrooms. That's where we're going to put the rec kids in, and we're going to offer that to them. So I think we feel pretty comfortable with that. We also remember, depending on what we do with the bucket, we're going to try to find those kids some hours too. So, so we kind of work that out, and that's something I need you guys to kind of give me some guidance on today. Is what do you want to see for lifeguards? Would you prefer to have, and just think of it. I mean, we should really think of it as just think of it as a Saturday, like a good Saturday. Would you rather have adequate lifeguard coverage during the daytime hours and do like Horse Neck, for example, that basically sends their lifeguards home at, I think, like 5 o'clock, and they just leave the gate open and they have the gate guard and like two recreation people there to monitor the bathrooms and just monitor what's going on the beach? Or do you want to limit the lifeguards during the daytime hours so you can stretch them the same number of people basically across the whole time frame? That's kind of where we're at. We've kind of worked it up both ways, but that's where you guys need to kind of give me some guidance on how you want to do it, and we'll make it work either way. Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Joan, are you talking?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, Joan, not Joe.
No, Joan's muted.
Joan's muted.
Joan's muted. There you go.
Go ahead, Joan.
Joan?
Yes, I was saying that it's a tough call no matter what, because if you send the lifeguards home at 6 o'clock, or you're going to have to put a sign at swim at your own risk.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, liability wise, I don't know what that does.
Yeah, so here's my gut, and this is the way we've always run the beaches. And this is from years of us going to the Mass Park and Rec Association and being involved with that. And kind of what we've been told is, and this is obviously unique because it's not, this isn't a budgetary cutback that's causing us to have to reduce staff. This is the fact that we just can't find the staff, and it's because of this pandemic. But normally, you staff the beaches adequately, or you don't staff them at all, is the rule of thumb. So My gut tells me staff at 9 to 5 adequately and post it the other hours. But, you know, I've talked to some of you on the side, and I know that there's merit to do it the other way too. There's merit to stretching the staff out. However, you know, when
But I mean,
you have, you know, we're going to have the most people there between, you know, 10 or 11 and 3 or 4 on a Saturday. I mean, 3 lifeguards down there, that's very, very tight.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. The only plan that I thought, Jimmy, one time was even at Round Hill, like in the morning when they open up, you know, have, you know, from 9 o'clock to say 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we got, you know, maybe 3 people down there. During the peak hour, we're at maximum coverage. And then as we tool down in the afternoon, we're back down after 5 o'clock, we're back down to 3. But we also have other staff there. They can clean up the beach. You know, 2 laborers would offset the cost of, offset the other lifeguards that are there. So at any given time, we still have 5 staff people down there. It's just that in the first couple of hours, it'll only be 3 lifeguards and 2 laborers. And then in the afternoon, it would be, you know, again, same thing, 3 lifeguards and 2 laborers. So we still have bodies down there, but we can maximize our lifeguards during the peak time, which, like Timmy said, I think 10 to 5, 10 to 4 is really when, every time I've been down there, it seems to be the most people. But
that would be the optimal option. The only problem is since we're dealing with so few people, I can only have the overlap go on one end of the spectrum. I'm using the same 5. So if I have, you know what I'm saying, if I have the same 5 people that are available to work that day, I can only stagger that one way or the other. I can either only pick up the night or I can pick up the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the only other way to do that is I'd have to have some come in, they have to go home and come back. I mean, it'd be the same people.
That's crazy.
Because we're so short on staff, that's the problem. That's why you can't stagger it on both ends because we don't have enough bodies.
I think that we should, you know, fully staff our lifeguards. And then when we don't have enough to fully staff them, I agree with Tim says, just, you know, no lifeguards on duty. I don't think we want to go with saying, well, I may not be busy after 5 o'clock, but all of a sudden you get some of those real hot days and the beach is busy and we're short staffed and something happens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I defer whatever the you know, whatever's safest for everybody and what's clearest.
Right.
I mean, I'm just trying to think outside the box, and I think that's part of the thing, to try to get as many, you know, keep our staff down there as long as possible. But it is what it is.
And the other thing too is as we get into mid-August, you know, some of those lifeguards, they're college kids. They'll start slowly dropping mid-August, and we'll have to reassess this thing again. I mean, you know, at that point, the reassessment's going to be which beaches do we not staff, and
Right.
we concentrate our efforts to, you know, to the busy one. You know, that's a different conversation for a little bit later. But you know, that's how, unfortunately, I mean, that's what we're up against. And what I will probably do, you know, that sign at Round Hill down at the bottom by the bend, that will probably stay up this year. The one that says, you know, no lifeguards on duty to cover us. That way in the evening we'll have that sign up. I'll probably make a couple signs up for Jones and Apponegansit, because I don't really have signs that stay up there. Basically the only signs I have for Jones and Apponegansit are the closed for season signs. So I'll have some new ones made up. It can stay up there probably in multiple languages for those locations, probably in Spanish and English. They will just advise people that lifeguards aren't necessarily on duty, so that way we get a little bit of coverage there as well. And then yeah, go ahead, Jim.
But we're going to have to keep some of our staff there, correct?
Yes,
you know,
correct. We'll always have staff. We can't. One thing we've learned, number one, and I didn't really touch on this, is if we do operate our bathroom facilities, they're going to have to be desanitized much more often than what we normally do in a normal year. And we've actually purchased some disinfectant that the spray on, disinfectant that dries. You don't have to wipe it. You don't have it's a no contact disinfectant. And we're gonna have, you know, staff, whether it be from the rec department, rec staff, or other staff, that will be going into those bathrooms much more often, spraying down the areas that get touched, you know, the contact areas. And in addition to that, at any time Round Hill is open, there will be staff down there. We've learned a lesson years ago about having bathrooms open at Round Hill with no staff, and the bathroom got destroyed. You gotta have staff there. So at any time we'll have at least, and it'll be at least 2 people, because we're never gonna leave somebody by themselves down there either. So there'll be 2 people. And as far as funding goes, we're still okay on funding, because you're gonna remember, if we don't have enough the money for the lifeguards is there. If we're not using it for the lifeguards, we can use it for the rec staff to be there. It's the same money. That normally would have been held by some lifeguard staff. So,
Tim, on the cleaning part,
Yeah.
because there's still money, there'll be money available in the COVID fund for the MEMA and FEMA. What the sheriff's department has, one of those vaporizers that they walk in there and they spray it in the room. You may want to look into, I think the police department just bought one. You may want to talk to the chief and see where he got it from. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have just from here on end, where we could send somebody down there and they, they can just kind of periodically just go in there and spray the whole place down. It's something where you have to shut it down for a few minutes, but it gets everywhere. I mean, we send somebody in there with hand spray and spray it down. You're going to miss nooks and crannies. I think this unit actually, it just kind of spreads the disinfectant everywhere in the room.
Is it cordless? Like?
It may be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it is, but I know it's portable where they're walking around with it. So it could be something that's even battery operated for that. Listen, even if it's not cordless, if we have to get the Honda generator, we could put something down there to run this thing if need be. But I think that may not be a bad deal. That way we can do bathrooms more often with less staff, and it'll be less at risk. We can just kind of walk in there and do it. I don't think it's a big dollar item. And I know that there's money that is available for COVID relief, especially for sanitation, and that we may fall within those four corners.
All right. So do I have a director at this point as to lifeguarding staffing? Because we're going to get to that point.
Okay, let's first go back. I don't think we finished voting on Joe's first motion about the hiring all the.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So Joe's motion of hiring all the people with asterisks next to him. Raise your hand.
If interviewing, if needed.
Interviewing, yes, not hiring, interviewing.
Interviewing, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay, everyone's in favor. All right, and the second motion now would be, who wants to make a motion about how we want to staff the lifeguards?
I'll make a motion to follow Tim's recommendation to staff the lifeguards at that appropriate staff level for Round Hill from 9 to 5, and the other ones, whatever hours is deemed.
We should be able to pull off 9 to 5 at those right now. That may change midway through.
Okay. I'm not sure if we need a motion for that, but I think because that's more of a management thing. But I'll make the motion that we staff the beaches from 9 to 5.
Any other discussion on that? No. Anybody second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Okay, where are we here?
That's actually good. So now at this point, what we're going to do is, because we still do have to do a lot of stuff with our lifeguards before the season starts, and even with the restrictions of the virus, we can do some of that. We can do this, so we can cut the group into 2 groups, do the swim test. Once it gets warm enough, we can get that done and get some of that stuff going, get the scheduling going. So that's good that we can at least move forward in that direction. Next, I have director's report on there.
Why don't we wait on that to the end?
Okay.
Well, how about the lifeguard rehires?
Yeah. So if you remember at the last meeting, there was one lifeguard that we were going to meet with regarding his performance last year. Since then, there's a second lifeguard that had submitted an application. Also worked for us last year, had some issues toward the end and left early. Sent a very nice letter regarding what was going on at that time in his life, and asking to be reconsidered. Both of those lifeguards, I'd asked that at this point, since we're still under this type of a meeting setting, to maybe have one of you, and I don't care who it is, meet with these 2 individuals so that we can basically see if we can get them back on board, if we feel that it's adequate to do so. That would be 2 more lifeguards that we can add to our very limited lifeguarding staff. They were both very good lifeguards when it comes to lifeguarding. There were some, just some other issues that had to be addressed with them. So, I mean, I think really the easiest way to do that, without having to go into it, would be that your board basically authorize one of yourself to work with me, and we'll meet with those individuals. And if we feel it's a good idea to bring them back, we do that. I think it's the easiest way to get it done.
Are they on this list? The rehires?
This is the list that you got from Becky with the asterisks are all new applications. They would have been on the list from last. But at that time, one of them wasn't in the mix when we did
All
it.
right, so on the list from last time, you have 17. So if those two come back, you'll have 19.
No.
We'll have 13.
No, if we get those two back, we'll have 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have last month's
Oh,
list.
there's a 17 on the top. I didn't count them. Okay.
Yeah. No, we only have 13. Normally we have about 20, our sweet number is 20.
Yeah, okay. All right. I thought that was the number underneath. I didn't count them. Sorry.
Yes, no problem.
I mean, if nobody I'll do it if nobody wants to do it. I can meet with them. I've
I mean,
been,
it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I have a lot of free time also.
okay,
So do you.
yeah. So Mr. Chairman, that's your call, whatever. I mean, I don't know if anyone.
Well, one of us will.
Yeah.
We'll see who has, whenever Timmy can do it, if it's got to be during, if you're working or something.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know the kids' names. I don't.
Right.
Actually, I don't know half these kids, so I guess it doesn't make a difference to me. So.
Well, yeah. All right.
Oh, you know what? I can text
Oh.
them. Do you want the names? I can text them to you.
Nah, I mean, I don't.
No, we don't want.
Honestly, I wouldn't. If before I talk to them, I wouldn't want to know names. I want to read what they did and then find out from there.
Yep.
Well, I already know who they are.
Yeah.
All right, just as long as the board, I think Jim just needs to make sure the rest of the board is okay with that, handling it in that fashion,
Right.
regardless if it's you or Joe, whoever it is.
Okay. Do we need to rehire these lifeguards, or did we already from last year?
Already did that last meeting.
We already had that last meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, because you got it on our thing. Okay.
Because the lifeguard rehires, it's those two that I want to talk to you about.
Oh, all right. I misunderstood. Okay, beach sticker sales.
I just put that on there as a placeholder. I really don't have anything yet to add about that. I assume you guys want to all hold on. Whatever you want to do. I mean, people, like I said, I did the DCTV thing. I'm trying to get the word out there to try to, so people know what's going on. We've got it on the website. We've got it on the phone, voicemail. I assume at this point, it's just a placeholder. So if you guys don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it. We can just leave it there.
Well, there's not much we can do at this point until we know what's happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any more I think we're ready to go when we do get as far as this. I've kind of talked to the IT guy about the whole thing out front here. That's good to go. So, I mean, that's really a one-day setup, really. So if we have
but there's more issues. We have to see what guidelines we're going to be getting from the Board of Health. If we have to limit people, things of that nature before we make any decisions on.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about physically issuing them. I think I can
okay.
pull that together pretty quick at this point. I looked into it. So, yeah. So let's see. Park projects. We're finally getting a little bit of good weather. We're going to be Russell Mills Landing. We should be done with our section of that next week sometime. We're going to hopefully be pouring some concrete Friday for the sidewalk, get the sidewalk back in, and next week get everything for the playground done. I noticed, I've been reading the paper that PJ Keating has some issues going on in Acushnet, and that's where our asphalt would be coming from for the tennis court resurfacing. So that individual had contacted me. He was all set to go, but I haven't heard from him since I saw that article, so I'm not sure if that's going to impact him as being able to do that job right now. The bucket, I have been in contact with those folks for the flooring every week. The guy's gotten all the approvals he needs from his bosses to go down there and fix that floor. At this point, he's just waiting for the temperatures, which I think the temperatures getting to where they need to be for him to do that. So that's going forward pretty good. The doors down at Jones Park, I'm having some difficulty with that one. That may not make it in time for the season. I'm not sure. So obviously, that was something we had lined up for the truck driver that is no longer here. So that may be a challenge, but I'll work on that one. You ready to go to director's report now?
Yes, sir.
So really, I already talked to you about the memo that I sent to the selectmen. That was what I had on there. And also, we are going to start I'm hoping that Friday, we're going to start getting guys back to work to start cutting some grass. We're going to start utilizing one or two of the lifeguards and at least get guys out there to cut grass. I'm going to, basically at this point, I'm going to have only one of our truck drivers working per week so that I can stagger their weeks. And that's solely for the purpose that if, unfortunately, one of them gets this, I don't want to have to lose both of them at the same exact time. I'm not as concerned about the kids where I can rotate kids in and out, but we can't operate without any truck drivers as supervisors. So that's the plan right now, and that's the best we got. Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, we're doing all right. We're using some of the facility staff here at Town Hall help pick up the trash at all the parks last week, the beginning of this week. The parks were heavily used last weekend when we had that good weather. And as a result, there's lots of trash from that. So I did do a thing, and I've asked folks. We are seeing there's a lot of, I'm not sure why, but there's definitely a lot of just littering going on for sure, and I'm not sure why that is. I mean, we have barrels, but I've caught a couple of people that I just couldn't get the license plate, but just tossing the stuff out their window of their cars, just pure laziness. Down at Round Hill, and again, I just don't know the time frame. And I noticed that there's someone with a 4-wheel drive going down there that's trying to tear up the sides of the road, on the grass areas and making a mess. But other than that, that's what we're dealing with. I did mention that in the DCTV video and asked folks to contact the police department if they witnessed any type of vandalism or dumping going on. But it's not so much dumping, really. It's more just littering. It's just, instead of going to the barrels, they're just basically sitting in the car and throwing stuff out the window. So that's pretty much where we are.
Timmy,
What's that?
we talked to you this morning about yesterday about the Russell Mills Landing.
I don't remember exactly what we talked about.
You mentioned about still having to rebid it.
Oh yes, Greg is working on that.
I mean, is he working on that, or should we be pushing him along?
I've sent several emails. The playground equipment is in. It got delivered last couple of weeks ago, and I've stored it in the shed that's on site there. So thankfully, I was able to fit it in there because I was going to have to rent trailers to put it in. That would be costing us money. I will talk to him. And obviously, I know right now Greg is working on the warrant, the town warrant. I know that's consuming him. So I will touch base with him again and just say that you folks were wondering.
I'm just curious of a time frame.
Yeah, I mean, you figure it's, once I get done there next week, once I finish up, I mean, we got backed up too a little bit with all this mess.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, I'll be out of there next week. And, technically, theoretically, if we had the guy lined up, he could start in a week or so. But I'll email Greg again and just do like a follow-up.
Right. That's what I was looking for. Just a kind of a follow-up. It's still on his front burner there. Do you have anything else on the director's report, Timmy?
No, I think at this point, I mean, we've got a lot of answers that we needed to get some things going here so that we can be a little bit ahead of the curve when this happens. I think the next, I'll be able to get the lifeguards is a lot to that. So it's going to take me a little while to get the swim test done. If I break them up into groups and get everybody, just, all the rehires, having to do that through email and get all their paperwork in, just pulling their hair out over here because some of the kids it went to their spam folder, then they put it in the box, and it's a very difficult process. It's always a difficult process. It's just much more.
Right.
Everything else right now, everything's more difficult.
Yeah.
And did we know why the finance committee? I know that there's been talk about cuts in it. Is that what he wanted to come on here for, or just kind of pop in and say hi?
He could have just been popping in to say hi. I know there's been a lot of discussion. I watched a couple of the finance committee meetings regarding the budget forecasting, and it's not good regarding next year and I know they're gonna I listened to Greg last night at the selectmen's meeting. They're gonna mid-year, they're going to relook at the budget and see if any cuts or additions can be made to the budget based on revenues. So it could have been something about that. He did mention to me about beach stickers pricing. when he talked to me on the phone, but I'm not sure if he was going to talk to you about that or not.
Yeah.
To look into that. And, you know, my thought on that is, while that might be something to look into in the future, this year is
No,
this is,
it's
it's not the,
not
this isn't the year. I mean,
Not the year
you
for
know,
that.
we're, if anything, we're going to be reducing the services we offer to our residents by having less lifeguard staff available, and, you know, so grass cut less. So, you know, there's probably a time to have that discussion. It's not right now. Yeah.
The finance committee did bring that up at their meeting.
Yeah, we were there for one
I
of them.
think
Brought that, yeah.
I think they brought it up when I was at the budget hearing.
Right.
Yeah, at the meeting, they brought it up. You know, maybe it hasn't been raised in a while, but I mean, with the current status of the nation, I don't think that, in people unemployment, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I mean, if we sell the same amount of stickers that we sold last year, then I don't see why they would even consider cutting our budget, where we're pretty much self-sufficient on a lot of these things that we do here. So that's what I would relay to them.
Right. And everything is up in the air. We don't know what the restrictions are going to be. Like we said earlier, how many beach stickers we're actually going to be able to sell. You know, with the social distancing, what they're going to do, what restrictions they're going to put on us. So I think we need to just hold and wait to see what they come up with, and then we can talk about what we want, you know, what we're going to do even with the price of the beach stickers for this year.
Yeah, I mean, we made some good progress, Jimmy. We made good
that?
progress. We've got things in place, so we've moved forward, and we've got things in place. That way, you know, if they turn around and pull the trigger and say, okay, guys, have at it, at least we've got these safeguards in place we'll be able to move forward. Because when our people come out of this quarantine, they're going to be hitting these beaches because they're not going to go anywhere else. This is it. You know, their vacation is going to be at Round Hill Beach, and I see Jones Beach being picked up also. A lot more people going there. So, I mean, we have to prepare for that, and we know it's coming. I mean, even on a normal year, but when these people have been cooped up in their house for 48 days, 49 days so far and running, we're going to need to be prepared. So,
yeah, that's a good point, because, you know, back in 2007, 8, when we had that recession, and we ran, the beaches were considerably more busy that year, in that time frame, because and most likely that was attributed to the fact that folks weren't going away on vacations. They were staying close to home, saving money, not spending money. And when you do that, you use what you have at home, and that's beaches. So I'm thinking that we may be looking at a similar year to that this year, especially where you have places like Disney World and all these other resort areas closed down, and they're really going to have a hard time opening. Those are places that, you know, you're not going to see those reopening anytime soon. So
there's not going to be much confidence in the traveling for the time being. I mean, I hope things change, and I hope everybody gets out there and does their thing. But that's always my fear right now, watching what's going on, and just watching around the states and watching around the country. You know, mainly California and Florida with their beaches. I mean, people are behaving. I don't believe what I see in the media. I see people, I have friends of mine down there, and they've videotaped it. People are staying, doing their thing. I mean, you always have people who don't want to participate in the common good, but for the most part, I would hope that our people are a lot smarter than most, and that when they get down to these beaches and such, that they're going to, you know, they'll be in family pods, but they're not going to be sitting on top of one another, you know, friends like they used to years ago. So I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman, myself.
do we want to look, Jim, do we want to look before we go to have another meeting scheduled for the end after the next governor's announcement?
Do we want to wait until we know have a little more information before we schedule the meeting, or is there something we need to do in the meantime?
Well, he's shut everything down to what, the 18th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably, if there's going to be any type of announcement, I imagine that within the next 5 days, he's going to come up with something. Because I think last time he announced 3 or 4 days before the end of the lockdown. So
He did.
Do you want to shoot for the 26th?
Let me just.
As I say, that's Memorial Day weekend, but there's nobody going anywhere.
Well, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that Tuesday morning, I actually have a doctor's appointment. In the morning, I should be back in the afternoon, though.
You want to go to June? I mean,
Hold on, I'm just.
I would do May.
I think we should do the end of May also.
Yeah. You want to go? You want to shoot for that week of the 18th, though, before Memorial Day, like the 21st?
Well, we should wait. Say that again, Joe. I'm sorry.
The shutdown, the governor has the state lockdown till the 18th. I'm
Right.
going to guess that sometime the 14th to 15th, he's going to make the announcement, because he won't do it on that day. So if he makes the announcement, do you want to shoot for sometimes that week? You know, maybe the 21st or the 22nd, right before Memorial Day?
Yep, it's fine.
Can you guys
Hold
hear
on.
me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you, yeah.
Can we actually do tentatively the 19th, depending on what the governor says? And if he doesn't have anything that we can move forward on, like just pushes it out another couple weeks, we'll just cancel.
Yeah.
yeah.
But if he
Yeah, Mike-
does decide to open things up, I think sooner rather than later. is
Right,
when-
I would do that day, that 19th.
That sounds like a plan.
Does the
And we'll
19th
just
work for,
cancel if it's, you know, if it's not helpful.
Right.
does it work, does the 19th work for everyone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
What time? Same time?
Same time, 2:30?
Yeah,
Can I just ask a question? Some people are asking me, and I
Yep.
know this directly, but about the sports for the little, anybody know what's happening with them? If their football season, someone's asking me about, and
I can talk for the DYA right now. Everything is on hold. I mean, are we going to be able to have any type of season? It's going to be up to the governor. I know our league, we can play. We start in July. We can play into September, so it's not a huge problem.
Okay, I'm gonna run.
okay, thanks,
Hey,
Sherry.
Sherry, see ya.
Yeah.
Bye. If they let us. I mean, obviously we're going to wait to see what other leagues do, especially in the Bedford. But right now, everybody I think is on hold. We're just waiting for an answer.
Yeah, I think all the sports across the board, I think it's pretty much a blanket thing. Nobody's really trying to do anything outside of the norm right now. I think everybody's
Right.
just waiting to see what they're going to do. Because I don't even think sports, quite honestly, if you look at the tiers, I mean, you look at even the federal, how they're going to start reopening the country.
FaceTime video. FaceTime video.
Sport isn't until like level 3, level 4. So I think that's going to be one of the last things that they're going to allow. I know professional sports in congregation of large groups, that's like number 4 on the list.
Mhm.
So I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon.
Yeah,
okay.
that's why I don't think our recreation program's probably going to go this year. But who knows? To have to wait and see.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then
All
the
right.
meeting. We'll see each other again on the 19th at 2:30.
Okay,
Everyone stay healthy.
thanks, guys.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Be safe.
In favor? Aye. So
Aye.
voted.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.